Right now, I don't need it. It's a signal buoy. The anchor must be broken, otherwise there's no reason for it to be so close to the mooring. The sun is shining. Rather optimistic for an act of vandalism. Crates, barrels, and other crap. Everything that you'd expect to find at a port. There are barrels and crates everywhere at the port. A ton of useless stuff. Nothing that's worth the trouble of picking up. This car tells me I'm not the only one at the port. I didn't come to steal cars. Kane and Smith warehouse. It looks like they haven't been used for a while. A rowboat that has seen better days. No, it's saying something that it's still floating. The cab of that crazy Chinese guy.
Can we leave this place now?
No, not yet.
I want go away. This place give me queeps.
Stop whining and wait for me here. I'll take a look around. A metal door. It's closed. Going through the whole port on foot is an experience that I'd rather avoid. They probably called me from this telephone. I remember hearing a ship's siren during the call. There's something on the ground. Dannazione. It's blood. It's fresh. Very fresh. Otherwise the rain would have washed it away. I didn't like this case right from the very beginning. These traces of blood certainly don't win at any points. What the hell? Dannazione. That Chinese cab driver ran away and left me here. I hate cab drivers. It would be better if I called the police. It looks like there's something inside these crates. Let's see. It's part of a pipe. It could be helpful. It looks like a piece of piping. It's definitely the telephone they called me from. And those traces of blood on the ground make me think that whoever called didn't make it out of here in good shape. There are traces of blood on the ground. Before I check out the piers, I better take a look around. Crates, barrels, and other crap. Everything that you'd expect to find at a port. Nothing that's worth the trouble of picking up. Nothing that's worth the trouble of picking up. Before I check out the piers, I better take a look around. It's a signal buoy. The anchor must be broken, otherwise there's no reason for it to be so close to the mooring. This car tells me I'm not the only one at the port. It's and those traces of blood on the ground? Yes, I'd better call the police. Hello, operator? Operator. There's no line. Someone must have cut the cables. That explains why the telephone call I received was cut off so abruptly. No cab and no phone. Looks like I'll have to take care of things myself. It's too dark. I can barely see where I'm stepping, but I can see a blood trail pointing to the docks. There's a toy company logo on these crates. Who knows? Maybe Santa Claus decided to give up his sleigh for a more practical merchant ship. It's pitch black. If I take another step, I might end up in the water. Drowning seems like one of the most unpleasant endings I can think of. Anyway, I have to find a way to go to the docks area. The blood trail points in that direction. There's a toy company. Who knows? An electric panel. Nothing I can do. The panel is completely useless. There's a flashlight here. Yes, I'll take it. The flashlight is in good condition, but it doesn't have any batteries. Finding something ready to be used would have been too easy. A useless flashlight, since it doesn't have any batteries. The light from this buoy definitely doesn't work on its own. It must be battery powered. Maybe it uses the same kind as my flashlight. I can't get there from here. The pipe could work like a hook, but I have to find something to connect them. Yes, I'll take a little. Now the pipe is full of pitch. The piece of piping filled with pitch. I'd like to get rid of this as soon as possible. It's getting my coat dirty, and it's the only one I have. The pitch should work as glue. Hey, rather improvised hooked stick. And what should I use it for? Yes, this should work. The improvised hook does the job. It hooks the buoy and brings it to the pier. Okay, I brought the buoy closer. Okay, let's hope that the buoy takes the same batteries as the flashlight. They take the same batteries. If I weren't already up because of that anonymous call, and I hadn't found traces of blood at a semi-abandoned port, I'd say that today is my lucky day. The flashlight I picked up at the port. It's time to shed some light on this story. Gun and flashlight in hand, I walk around the crates scattered around the port. I'm careful to cast my light everywhere that someone could be hiding with the idea of whacking me over the head with something when I least expect it. There isn't anyone on the dock. I decide to look around the piers. And there, I find something that doesn't really surprise me. A dead body. Sean's dead body. I touch his face with my fingers. It's warm. He can't have been dead more than 20 minutes. Rifling through the pockets of his coat, I find a bottle that, from the smell of it, must have rye whiskey in it. And a couple documents with the name John Ford on them. They're done so well, they almost seem real. All of a sudden, a noise behind me brings me back to reality. But it's too late. A set of knuckles meets my jaw like a truck. I fall to the ground. From the rebound, my finger pulls the trigger and the gun goes off. The trajectory of the bullet is as random as my shot. The owner of the fist stands there like a statue, making noises like a caged gorilla at the zoo. I try to think of a quick way to knock him over. He's as big as a house, but a kick to his legs will knock him over like a consumptive kid. Right before I'm about to jump, the guy turns around and runs away. I follow him. But as soon as I get off the piers, a light beam hits me right in the face. "Hands up," says a voice, but I can't see the face. "New York Police," continues the voice.
Del Nero, that's a great story you just told. An anonymous call, a mysterious assailant, and a dead body. Sounds like the plot of one of those crime novels so popular these days.
I bet it's those kinds of books that made you the lieutenant you are today.
Hey, I wouldn't joke if I were you. You're not in a position to be joking. Let's summarize your version of the facts. Around 20 past midnight, you got a call from a man. He said he had information for you and asked you to go to the Melville port. You agreed to meet him. When you got to the port, no one was there. You decided to walk to the piers, and there you discovered the body of Sean McLean, a former police officer who had been your partner in this department years back until the Valenti case when you both got kicked out of the force. And to conclude, you claim that you were assaulted by some mystery guy who was chasing you when you got arrested by Officers Harris and McGee. Now, is this all correct?
It's the third time that I've told you the facts of the matter. I can repeat it as often as you like so that you can see whether I trip up, but that technique isn't going to work.
You are accused of homicide, Del Nero, and I suggest you cooperate with us if you don't want to end up in a cell. There are some unclear points that I'd like to shed some light on, if you don't mind.
Sure. I don't have any other appointments. My knitting class has already ended.
Del Nero, joke around if you think this behavior will help you. At 20 past midnight, you got a telephone call from a man that asked you to go to the old Melville port. You agreed without thinking twice. Let's talk about the telephone call you received.
It was a guy with some information about one of my cases.
Okay. It must have been very important information to make you go to the port in the middle of the night. What information are we talking about?
Information on a person I'm looking for.
Interesting. Based on your story, when you got the call, you went right to the Melville port. How did you get to the port?
I took a cab.
Interesting. From the telephone records, we know you called a cab company at 12:27, but we don't have any proof that you really did take a cab. How do you explain the fact that no driver reports having you in their cab?
I paid the cab driver so that he'd say nothing.
Okay. When you got to the port, did you meet anybody?
The port was deserted.
Interesting. What did you do when you arrived at the port?
I took a look around.
Good. The officer said that you were inside the port. Why did you go to the piers?
I heard some noise.
Interesting. What did you find at the piers?
McLean's body.
Interesting. If you don't mind, Del Nero, I'll tell you my version of the facts now. I'm sorry if it's not as exciting as yours. There aren't any mystery men or anonymous calls. I think that someone was tailing Sean McLean and then decided to tell you he was at the Melville port. Maybe he did it for the money or for some sort of professional ethics between you private detectives.
Crap.
Let me finish, Del Nero. With that information, you took a cab to the port, making sure you had your gun with you. When you got there, you found McLean and you shot him in the stomach. That's how it went. Admit it, Del Nero.
I didn't kill McLean.
No? So let's talk about the gun you had in your hand when the officer surprised you at the port. You shot out from behind the docks, running like a madman with a gun in your hand. Is that right?
I wasn't running away.
Paraffin analysis on your gun shows that you used it tonight. How do you explain that?
I already told you that my gun went off during the scuffle.
Oh, of course. The scuffle with the mystery man. A man whose face you didn't see and that the officers didn't find any trace of. Del Nero, there were only two people at the port tonight. You and McLean. You were the one who killed McLean!
Why would I have killed him?
Revenge, Del Nero. Nothing but revenge. McLean confessed to your involvement with the Valenti family, and that cost him his job on the force and got you a year in the state prison. Well, that seems like a plausible reason to kill someone.
These are just theories, Malone.
These are the facts, Del Nero. Confess. It was you who killed Sean McLean.
I didn't kill McLean.
Say you're guilty, Del Nero.
You don't have any proof.
Del Nero, the law allows me to keep you here for as long as I need to. If you confess now, the judge will go easy on you, and you might get off with a lighter sentence. Otherwise, you stay here in this room until we find the evidence that shows you're the killer. And if we can't find them, I'll make sure that something turns up. Goodbye, Del Nero.
Bastard. Dannazione. Malone won't take too long to get the proof he needs. I have to find a way out of this situation. An interrogation table. I'd like to say that it's the first time I've seen one. The radiator's shut off. There's never been a comfortable interrogation room. It's the counter where you return personal effects.
Hey in there!
What's happening now?
Someone paid your bail. Pick up your personal effects at the counter and beat it. We need the room.
Right when I was starting to be fond of this place.
If you want, I can always toss you in a cell for a few days.
Is this a formal invitation to meet your family?
Huh.
I'd better get out of here quickly. I don't want to spend another minute in this place. I better get my personal effects first. I don't want some police officer with a long arm to steal my stuff. It's the counter where you return personal effects. My personal effects. I hope nothing's missing. Sean's bottle of rye. The officers must have thought it was mine. Otherwise, they would have never left me an object belonging to the person they think I shot. Hey, let me out of here. The police department of Hoboken. It's been years since I've been here. Nothing's changed. There are the same photographs on the walls as when I worked here. Officers with their chests puffed out and mayors shaking hands. I really didn't miss this place. Anyway, it's time to figure out who's the good Samaritan that decided to pay my bail.
Hey you can't get in there. It's a restricted area.
The department's porter's lodge. The police department of Hoboken. It's been years since I've been here, and honestly, I didn't feel the need to come back. The service officer's post. An American flag. I have to buy one for my office. It'd give it that touch of patriotism that's missing. A fire extinguisher. The department's benches, as uncomfortable as the reason why someone would have to sit on them. I don't want to sit down. The department's one of those pompous awards that mayors love to hand out to make themselves more popular. Jokes aside, this plaque is an award to Malone for his work combating crime here in New York. The plaque says, "For his continued quest for the truth." It's like assigning a Nobel Peace Prize to Al Capone. Kevin Thomas Taylor, head of the department. George Hawks, police captain. Paul Sanders, head detective. Jokes aside, the plaques, it's like... Hi, officer.
How can I help you?
Can you tell me who paid my bail?
Tell me your name.
Jack Del Nero.
Jack De Niro?
Del Nero, not De Niro.
Okay, calm down. Jack Del Nero. Here you are. Released at 1:13 with bail paid by Victoria Diaz. Yes, it was Sergeant Diaz who paid your bail. Well, you have powerful friends.
It looks like it. Where can I find Sergeant Diaz?
Top floor. Stairs are in the back on the right.
Thanks. I'd like to talk to Malone.
Sorry, the lieutenant is working a case.
I have to speak with him. It's urgent.
Sorry, but even if I wanted...
I'm the key suspect in the case the lieutenant is working on. I don't think that Lieutenant Malone would be happy if he finds out you sent me away.
Okay, wait here. I'll go call him.
The department's porter's lodge. The officer is coming back.
The lieutenant is waiting for you in the interrogation room. I think you know where that is.
I've changed my mind. I've got nothing to tell him. Posters telling you the advantages of enrolling in the U.S. Army. Traveling the world, great experiences, and a sense of pride. Thankfully, they put a picture of a tank on there. Otherwise, I'd have thought that this was an advertisement for a cruise line. A fire extinguisher. A card reader. It's the first time I've seen one. Swipe your card in that thing and it tells you if you are allowed to get in or not. It's all simple if you have a card. The police archives have all the information on the people they arrest. If you did something, your picture is definitely in here. There's a light over the door. I think it signals if the door is opened or closed. That red light makes me think it's closed now.
Sergeant Diaz, this behavior is unacceptable. I'm not gonna let you hamper my investigation.
It takes a lot of guts to call it an investigation.
I'm not gonna discuss my methods with you. I'm your superior, and I'm ordering you to get your nose out of this matter. Or I'll have to take care of you as well.
What do you want to do? Toss me in a cell too?
Stay out of it. It won't turn out well for you. Del Nero, do what you want for the time that you have left, because in 24 hours, you'll be back behind bars, and I'll be the one bringing you in.
What an honor.
Joke all you want. The truth will come out one way or another.
You do like to play the role of the irreproachable police officer, right, Malone?
It's a role that comes easy when I'm standing in front of a murderer.
You have no proof that I killed McLean.
I'll find it, Del Nero. I'll find it. I suggest you don't leave the city. I have personally informed every officer in New York about your situation. If they find you with 1 foot outside the city or close to doing anything you shouldn't be, they have orders to arrest you and bring you in.
An entire police department watching my every move. I'm thrilled by the attention.
24 hours, Del Nero. Give me 24 hours.
Sergeant Diaz.
Knock it off, Jack. Call me Victoria.
You've had quite a career over the years. When I knew you, you were just a rookie.
A lot of time has gone by, Jack. Anyone would have done it.
I don't think so. If I were still on the force, I'd still be patrolling Central Station.
You could have become a lieutenant without any problems if you just had some common sense.
I have a pretty rocky relationship with common sense.
Which isn't very good for an officer.
But that aside, we have to talk. Is there a quiet place?
My office should be quiet enough.